Hey guys, this is Ryan Prackle here from Twitter, here to talk about Donovan McNabb's comments and whether NASCAR drivers are athletes. Now, I want to make this pretty clear to everyone watching this video. I don't agree with anything McNabb said. Absolutely not. But I do understand where he's coming from because he doesn't know anything about NASCAR. And this is the problem that NASCAR fans in the industry, media, we need to fix this. And we're letting people who don't understand the sport get us riled up. Now, the same could be said, NASCAR fans, for example, could say that hockey players like myself, I'm an athlete, that hockey players just skate around. You just have a stick in your hand and you hit a puck. And it's more than just about hitting a puck. You have to control the puck, you have to maintain balance, hand-eye coordination, you've got to pass the puck, you've got to skate backwards, you've got to skate at completely different angles, and then you could say, oh, boxers, they just run around and hit each other. No, you have to duck, you have to bob and weave, you have to have good head movement, you got to have speed, you got to have power, you've got to have, that's what athleticism is all about. So when you hear McNabb say this, at first I said to myself, what a moron. But at the same time, I'm like, he doesn't understand racing. I understand where he's coming from because he doesn't understand that it's not just about turning left in NASCAR. It's about the finesse. It's about the G-forces. The same thing can be said about plane racing. You're in a plane. You just turn. No, you have to handle the G-forces. You're going at a speed. You're going the speed of sound. I don't know what your opinion of plane racing is, but there's so many sports. I hate golf. But if I golfed, I'd probably find it, to be somewhat fun. I've golfed before. I hate it. But that's my opinion. So I'm never going to be a golf fan. I admire Tiger Woods for what he's done, not what he did in his private life. I'm talking about what he's done on the field. Yeah, but we shouldn't be getting riled up over this. There have been plenty of athletes that have come to NASCAR races and have changed their opinions, perhaps, like John Lackey came to a NASCAR race the year that the Anaheim Angels, when they had a normal name, won the World Series. Dwight Howard changed his opinion of NASCAR. We've had, the guy from the Detroit Lions, the linebacker with a huge name, and something Kong Su. Yeah, they've come to races. John Cena, Jerome Bettis. Why aren't we asking people who understand the sport how to improve it? We're basing our opinions to change the sport based off people who don't understand the sport, and that's a big problem because we're focusing too much on the people from the outside. We should be focusing on the fans on the inside, how we can improve the sport. For example, Humpy Wheeler, Eddie Gossage. We should be listening to guys like that. Don McNabb doesn't know anything about racing. The Seattle Seahawks wide receiver, whatever he was, that made a comment about drivers not being athletes. He doesn't know anything about racing. But Jimmy Johnson, look at him. He played ice hockey. He had an ice hockey session with Mike Modano when he still played for the Dallas Stars. I'll be honest with you, Johnson looked hilarious out there. He did. I laughed. But at the same time, what if I was in a race car? It's not just about turning left. It's the finesse. Just ask Travis Pastrana. He's an amazing racer. But NASCAR is completely different from, let's say, off-roading, rally racing, X Games. That stuff's pretty intense with the motorcycle tricks and all that. I can't do that. There's no way. There's no way. I'd probably break my skull in the first trick. So, yeah. So like I said, for example, motorcycle fans should not listen to me. If I said, the motorcycle tricks are so easy, like kick, they'd probably laugh their heads off and they'd probably think I was joking or maybe get upset. So what NASCAR fans need to do, we need to focus on our own people. First off, we need to focus on our own side. Don't let the negativity outside, affect or at least overshadow what could potentially be a very great weekend for Jimmy Johnson, Austin Dillon, Sam Hornish, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick. We just don't know what's going to happen. So don't let this overshadow. Don McNabb comes from a different type of athleticism. He doesn't understand. But, what he said was stupid. And people say stupid things. Bernard Hopkins, for example, one of the best boxers of all time, my favorite boxer of all time, said that UFC fighters, all they do is run around. It's basically a bunch of guys running around with their panties on and rolling on the floor. And then Bernard Hopkins went to a UFC training session and watched the guys and completely changed his opinion. And this guy's a legend. Literally, if you go through his record, he has not lost a fight legitimately since 1993. And a guy with that kind of caliber, the oldest fighter to hold a world championship in boxing, to say something like that, to change his opinion, especially at his age, because once you get older, your opinions usually don't change. Usually don't. You're usually set. You're like, this is it. But Hopkins changed his opinion, and that says something. And that says something about NASCAR as well. You know, yeah, we've been on the decline. It's been pretty clear. But if we keep letting the outsiders, dictate what we do with the sport, we're never going to improve. So what we need to do is focus on the people that understand the sport, like the people I said before. And we'll be great. I think that the sport has much room to improve. Every sport has room to improve. Boxing has an issue with corruption. We have an issue with fans getting to races. I mean, we have an issue with attendance. However, there are some tracks that got it down. For example, Phoenix had a sold-out race. So it's not impossible to have a sold-out race. It's something that needs to be focused on with the tracks, and something that NASCAR needs to focus on as well. So that's a long video, but I think it's what needed to be said. We shouldn't be getting upset over this. Dale Earnhardt didn't like the Hans device at first, and who can blame him? He had been so used to the other thing the whole time. He didn't want to change it. He was comfortable with it. So getting used to change is difficult. So when we switched to the chase system, it was difficult. Many drivers didn't like it. Jimmy Johnson actually didn't like it at first. Go back to the 2004 Chevy Rock and Roll 400 and listen to Johnson's comments after the crash that was triggered by Jimmy Spencer and Casey Mears. And yes, I remember that. The white hash marks from Mike Helton. I remember a lot of useless stuff. But go back to that race and listen to Johnson's comments. Matt Kenseth didn't like the chase. Now imagine if he won the championship this year. If he does, he probably won't. But will his opinion of the chase change? Probably, because he won the championship. So, don't get riled up. Focus, improve the sport, and change and then don't. Like I said, just yelling and screaming won't cure the problem. Focus, and that'll get you somewhere. All right, guys, enjoy the weekend, and let the best man win.